This is First Coast News on your side.
Good afternoon, Internet. I'm Lewis Turner. Hope your Memorial Day is going perfectly. We are joining you live today here on the First Coast News app, firstcoastnews.com. We're going to be an abbreviated edition of First Coast News at noon because over on NBC 12, where we would usually do this broadcast on color television, we've got the French Open happening. I'm trying to see what's up there. My eyes aren't good enough, but I got the French Open right over my right shoulder here, and it is happening. So if you want to watch that. But let's get to the very latest developments in the controversy over Jacksonville Sheriff Mike Williams moving out of Jacksonville and into Nassau County. The sheriff acknowledged on camera during an interview with On Your Side's Kaylee Tracy Friday that he had moved to Nassau County about a year ago, which appears at this point to violate the city charter, requiring the sheriff live within the city limits or vacate the position. Well, just a couple hours ago, in a brand new interview, Sheriff Williams told First Coast News that he cannot envision a scenario where he would resign.
Obviously, the other day we spoke regarding that. Now the city attorney is looking into everything. Do you have any comment on that? And also, do you plan to resign? Were you aware of this city charter that may trump this law that you're talking about?
Yeah, so I'm very aware of the city charter. I think that the city feels like they may have a solid position. I know we feel like we have a solid position. So, we'll see through conversation where that shakes out in the next couple of days.
Sure.
All right, so the sheriff says a 2013 state law allows him to live in Nassau County. Williams says he plans to stay outside of Jacksonville until he retires. Even though he does live in another county, Williams says he's available every day. The news of the sheriff's residency has left local elected officials a bit surprised, though, at least the ones we've spoken to. City Council President Sam Newby says the sheriff should live in Jacksonville, while Councilman Reggie Gaffney is expected to bring this up in the next City Council meeting. Meanwhile, City Attorney Jason Teal expected to give a legal opinion on this matter by Wednesday. In a statement, Teal says, quote, "I'm not answering any questions at this time, but I did want you to know that the City Council President has requested a binding legal opinion from me on the subject. I expect to issue this opinion on or before June 1st, which is Wednesday." Williams said he's not the only sheriff in Florida who does not live in the counties they serve. But do those counties have specific charters requiring that the sheriff does? That's the question. Responses from city leaders along with our full interview with Sheriff Williams are posted on First Coast News app, which you're watching me on right now. You can just scroll down. I do want to mention Mayor Lenny Curry just tweeting, and we'll get this throughout the afternoon. He says, quote, "I have worked with and served with Sheriff Williams at JSO Sheriff for almost 7 years. He is always engaged, present, and cares deeply about his community." That's the tweet from the sheriff with comments turned off. You can't comment on Mayor Lenny Curry's comments. So he's got that out there. We'll continue to follow it. All right, let's take a little look at the weather forecast for you right now. This is, first things first, Agatha. So as we go over to the weather wall, I want to zoom in. You've got Hurricane Agatha, which could be a Category 3 storm by the time it officially makes full landfall into Mexico. Now, Agatha is not the first named storm for the Atlantic hurricane season that does begin on Wednesday. Last few years, we've had these storms, the A, the B, the C storm that has come before even June 1. Agatha will not be that. This is a Pacific Ocean storm that will travel over Mexico, make its way into the Bay of Campeche, into the Gulf of Mexico, where conditions aren't ideal at the moment for any further development. Hence why we don't have any National Hurricane Center outlines for some issues in the Atlantic side. In fact, things are pretty good. So Agatha will be something to watch 5-6 days out as it does cross over and to get into the Gulf, whether it goes back into Mexico, which is a possibility, or if it gets into the warm waters of the Gulf and the Caribbean and then moves out to sea that way. Either way, 5-6 days out, we'll watch that for further development. As mentioned, though, Alex would be the first named storm of the 2022 Atlantic tropical storm season, which again begins Wednesday. But right now we don't have anything they're watching. When it does develop, generally speaking, and you can bank on this, the big development areas this time of year, this part of the hurricane season, the early part would be the bathtub of the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. And they do have those recurves into Florida potential. All right, St. Augustine, time lapse. Let's come back home. Let's look at the last several hours. We got boat traffic. We got the Bridge of Lions doing its thing. Busy in St. Augustine, but what an absolutely gorgeous day. Hard pressed to find much in the way of cloud cover. Just a few wispy cumulus clouds out there. Nothing that have become nimbus yet, which would indicate rainfall. Let's go to the beaches. I'll let you take a look out towards Neptune Beach. Wispy, little rain way offshore, but you got to squint in order to see anything along the horizon. So radar, our tool this afternoon, and you need to take this with you if you download the First Coast News app. You got a live radar right there in your pocket to keep an eye out on the pockets where we could get the pop-ups. Futurecast will show us by 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon will be the best opportunity, thinking downtown and to the west. So beaches should remain dry for any outdoor plans that you do have. A little disturbance out of South Florida off the Cape right now, but this is going to stay offshore of us and bring the rain a little bit later on in our afternoon, the next couple of afternoons. Mid 80s right now, upper 80s in Orange Park and 88. Keystone Heights along the beaches, you've got low 80s, and it'll stay right around there. So the aforementioned Futurecast, the computer model. So here is noon. Already a little aggressive because we saw radar, it's dry. Already wanted to paint a couple showers on there, so we haven't seen those yet. So we'll back it up about an hour. So think 1, 2 o'clock when we could see some showers develop. And notice, nothing really along the beaches. And I tend to agree with this in the computer model because we've got such a good easterly flow right now. Winds coming off the beach, so it's going to pop things maybe downtown and push them further out to the west as we go to that 4 o'clock hour. Notice from Waycross we could get some strong downpours there. Severe weather doesn't seem very likely. You can't rule it out entirely, but as far as you know, seeing any of the big hail, the gusty winds, you know, in very, very isolated pockets will be possible from Waycross through the swamp down to Lake City. Going into our Tuesday, we'll do it again about 1:30, 2 o'clock, but notice again west of town. So the beaches desperately in need of a little bit of rain. Doesn't look like you'll be getting it even into Tuesday evening. Wednesday could be a little bit different story as the pattern shifts more out of a northeast wind. That could bring in a little bit of rain for the beaches as opposed to that straight easterly flow that we had been seeing. But we do, with that east wind today, we do have a moderate risk of the rip currents. When you get that water piling up on the sand, it's got to rush back out. You know that feeling at your ankles when the wave crashes and it pulls at the ankles? Well, that's exactly a baby rip, and you get the big ones in the outflow of those larger waves and the stacking up of water. So mindful, swim near the lifeguard if that's where you're heading, if that's what your afternoon plans include. So mid 80s as your high. You do have a low tide, so we're still about 2.5 hours from our low tide out at the various beaches here at the First Coast. Plenty of sand. If you're going to do that beach driving down in St. Augustine, you'll have the sand for it. All right, 7-day forecast for you. So today, 88 degrees for your Memorial Day. Those showers and storms, remember, a little after 1, so think 2 to 4 window and then moving downtown and west. So 95 corridor and west. More of the same Tuesday. We climb up by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday into the low 90s. And I want to remind you, you are on the app right now if you're watching this, or maybe firstcoastnews.com. But while you're here visiting me in your telephone or device, turn on the notifications. Turn on your location so that way, if you are out and about, you will get the alerts sent directly to your phone if those strong storms do pop up. And with that all in mind, it'll do it for us for the weather side of things. Let's check in with McKenna Rodriguez, though. A look at the latest Naval Museum that'll be coming into Jacksonville and its status right now.
The ship docked here back in March, and ever since then, organizations and volunteers have been working to get it in tip-top shape. It already looks so great, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Take a look inside. The USS Orlick has its fair share of battle scars, commissioned in 1945 and used throughout the Vietnam War.
It earned 14 battle stars during Vietnam, and it really helped not just the sailors on board, but it also helped protect the soldiers, Air Force, Army, Marines that served in Vietnam on the field.
Jacksonville Historic Naval Ship Association Vice President Justin Weekland says it's been a lot of work getting the ship back in shape.
We've been cleaning, a lot of cleaning, and then we've been taping off areas and then painting out spaces. And then we're setting the exhibits back up, so each space is an individual exhibit.
The latest completed project, restoration of a 1961 drone used on this very ship.
This is something We've been waiting for a long time in Jacksonville. We have a lot of Navy history and heritage here, so it's an awesome community effort to bring this ship back to life.
Now, there's not an exact open date just yet, but they are hoping to open sometime this summer. But you want to speed up the process, then come out and volunteer. Head to firstcoastnews.com to learn how to sign up. Reporting downtown, McKenna Rodriguez, First Coast News, on your side.
McKenna, thank you so much. That'll do it for this abbreviated edition of First Coast News at noon. You can find so much more right now in the app that you're watching right now on this broadcast. Any of those stories that you've seen, the very latest, just scroll down and check them out. And again, as mentioned, turn on your notifications just in case we get some of those pop-ups going through the afternoon in the form of some storms. We'll see you back here on the Color Television, 5, 6, 7, and 11 o'clock. Hope you have a great rest of your day.